Miss Megan, is West Coast Swing harder than other social dances?
Most definitely.
All right, if you are a new West Coast Swing dancer, or you've been around for a while, but you're struggling to become a confident social dancer, maybe you're struggling with your confidence itself, your timing, remembering patterns, your connection and lead and follow, or maybe your styling, this is the video for you. We're gonna give you 5 tips to help you become a more confident social dancer, especially if you're a newbie, and even if you've been around for a little while, you'll get something here. So the first thing is that we lack what, Miss Megan?
Confidence.
We lack confidence because we're new at this, or we seemingly think that other people are better. I went through the same thing when I started. The very first night I ever went out to a place, I was a line dancer and I was pretty good at that. And when I went out to a place that all they did was West Coast Swing, I felt like I didn't have enough moves. I felt like I didn't look as cool as the other people. It was also the first night that I danced with a male follower. Shout out to Mike Topol, great West Coast Swing guy. All right, so if you're lacking confidence, that's normal. We all do, even as competitors. You know, you lack confidence that you're not as good as the person above you. So number one, just that's normal. And then what can we do to build confidence?
We can make sure that we know all our stuff and practice and that kind of thing.
Right, so step by step. So Megan's big into boiling West Coast Swing down to push, pass, and whip, right? Know your basics. She works with her students to understand, you know, you have to just be confident, and we're gonna get into some other higher level stuff, but I just have to be confident that I can dance a push, some sort of a right side pass, underarm turn, and a whip. So spend some time just becoming confident in that, because don't get stressed in the fact that you don't have all the other cool patterns, because they're all gonna come from those moves anyways. So develop confidence in your basics. So now we have people that struggle with timing within that, and that's a big subject, but
it is a huge subject.
So obviously listening to music in the car, that's something I did early on that will help you become acquainted to music, trying to find the beat, counting along to the music. This works at every level, by the way. Even if you're a hot shot, been around for a while, and you're trying to uncover the details of music to create musicality with your patterns and stuff, you have to listen to a lot of music. Shout out to Ben Morris, who won the US Open just a couple of months ago. And when I used to spend some time around him, he listened to so much music in the hotel room, it was crazy. And surprise, surprise, he's one of the best off-the-cuff dancers, and it's seemingly he knows every song, partially because he does, and partially just because he's developed the skill to understand. So listening to music and then counting 2, 4, 6, and 8 in our patterns, right? 2, 4, 6, and 8 are always gonna be whole beats. 1, 2 is a whole beat. 3 and 4, 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And one of the ways that we've taught our students that's worked really well, especially even as we level up, so beginner or beyond, is 2-beat increments. Thinking about West Coast Swing in 2-beat increments. So even if we walked, we do our little walking drill, we'll put the left foot free, just walking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Identifying where 2, 4, 6, and 8 is. Then if we do triples, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. But you can simplify that into 2-beat increments, just counting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So if we did a walking drill, it'd be 1, 2, 1, 2. We're focusing on that 2. And if we did it in triples, we'd go 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So you can see how that 2 sort of stands still. Now we go back to our push, pass, and whip. 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2. And if it works at a higher level, 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So counting 2, 4, 6, and 8, identifying them in your patterns, and then kind of looking at it like a 2-beat increment dance. For musicians, the fact that your 6-beat patterns don't match 8 beats of music, if you're one of those people, this will help fix that. It's mind-blowing, but this is very helpful. Then we get to remembering your patterns, and that comes back to kind of combining the 2, 4, 6, and 8 and the 2-beat increments, right? So, and the 3 basic patterns. So you go to class and you're doing this move. Maybe this is not you as a beginner, but you're doing that move. You're like, what the heck is that move? That move is a whip. It's a basic whip. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I know what a basic whip is because you've already done that because you listened to the first part of the video. Then you learn a reverse whip, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you go, okay, it's a reverse whip. Then you go, okay, it's a reverse whip. All of the rules of the reverse whip, by the way, my footwork hasn't changed. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. From the leader's perspective, my footwork is the same. Basic whip, reverse whip. Now I have to worry about this crazy move. Everything is the same to here, and all I really need to worry about is those 2 beats of the pattern, right? So you've understood your whip, reverse whip. Now you're into your funky part. There's actually 2 beats of that are different. Megan has had the same footwork all the way through, or the last 2 parts of the patterns, right? So by looking at it through that lens, it will help you remember the patterns. You're like, this is a basic reverse whip, basic whip footwork. I don't have to think about my footwork, right? Now I need to start thinking about this. So when you're taking that class, you're not worried about the whole thing. You're just worried about those 2 beats that make the pattern come alive. Cool? Which comes into like lead and follow and connection. So I'm gonna let you start talking follower, like when you're dancing with someone that's not good, Megan, because that's gonna be the struggle, right?
Yeah, so as a follower.
Not confident, not good.
As a follower, I tend to try to rely on my connection as much as possible because if you're truly connected, you can kind of feel where anybody wants you to go. It doesn't have to apply to dance, but I mean, if you were walking around with somebody oddly in the grocery store, you know, like this, they could walk you wherever they want. Like if you're connected, you can feel.
If you're a dancer, you can start to
where
add that stuff.
They want you to go. So if you can get a connection, that's great. If you don't have one, then you rely on your eyes. All right, so your peripheral vision can help you out a lot. If it feels like we're doing an inside turn, but they go that way.
Oh, jeepers. Yeah,
I'm like, okay, that's just gonna be a right side pass.
Yeah, so I think that if you can stay connected, we teach wedding couples, right? Mm-hmm. That we teach them that, because that's the most brilliant, they come in for 6, 7, 8 lessons, and then they have to dance in front of people. And so we tell them, dance together first, dance to the music later, right? So she's gonna follow me first, right? Whatever timing I go at first, and then we'll worry about the music later. Now, as we get better, especially in group classes and as we're leveling up, and when we take group classes, I think it's different. In a group class, you can try to not point out the person's mistakes, but try to not make up for them in a group class, right? You're gonna not make up for them. So if I lead a whip, but I don't lead it, and so now it gives me the opportunity as the leader to actually learn how to lead the whip. Now, we get into Megan's thing. If you're social dancing, you're gonna use your skills and your peripheral vision and say, okay, the first time it didn't work, but when he does this thing with his hand, he's trying to lead the whip, right? So you're gonna go, okay, now I go, oh, I'm such a good, right? So we're social dancing, we're trying to help each other out, make the dance be as good as possible for both of us.
Yes.
But now let's say we've done all that stuff and we're struggling, because we find this a lot when people write us emails and comments, that even at a higher level, we're struggling with our confidence, because now we're in the room, we can do all those things, but we think other people are better. We want to add some styling, and we're going to touch on that styling. Here's some easy places that you can do it. So if all this is confident and you're dancing all your basic patterns and everything's good, right, and you're a little bit bored and don't have the time in this moment to learn 6 new patterns, or maybe you learn 6 new patterns
and you can't remember
in class, and then I don't lead them, and Megan's like, I got all these cool patterns that no one's leading them. Yeah, happens a lot. So 2-beat increments, and the easiest place that you can style is the anchor step. So we go 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 2 beats, 5 and 6. We have to be back here at the end. We can move around with our anchor, right? We can just take that in a different spot. So there's easy places we can do it from. Can we do this back to the camera? Let's say we've done a sugar push. You're going a different direction than I am. You're going forward.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we have our anchor step. So leaders or followers, you can watch. We can hook this behind 5 and 6. We could take it out to the side, 5 and 6. We could cross it in front, 5, and 6, and every version of that. So from the leader's perspective, I can rock in front, I can rock here, 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 all the way around the clock, and it creates a different styling. Megan can do the same thing.
I can, just not all the way around the clock.
You could a little bit. You could over-rotate and come back.
You could.
Yeah, so thinking about it in 2-beat increments, right? Lower level, the easiest place is that the anchor step, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You can tap and step, you can rock and step, easy places to style the anchor. And then on a higher level, you can start to think about 2-beat increments in between. So we did a video that I'll link up at the end called How to Do a Hitch in West Coast Swing. Instead of walking 1, 2, we go 1, 2, right? We need to be on this foot, 1, 2 by count 2. Left foot for Megan, right foot for me. So we can hold the 1 with a hitch, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. If you want to watch that video, you can do that right here. And if you haven't yet visited our website, West Coast Swing Online, go to West Coast Swing Online, in your email address on the first page. You'll be part of our Move of the Week club. Currently, almost 20,000 people get an email from us every Tuesday at 2. We share a cool West Coast Swing move, a cool country dance move, a cool ballroom dance move, tell you where we are in the country, where we can hang out, and that's how we stay friends. So sign up on West Coast Swing Online, totally free. We'll see you in the next video.